Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome.
We're back.
We are back after a month. No, vinyl belt did not die off. Life just kind of got to us a little too fast. We were busy, just didn't have the
Yeah.
time with everything. So we decided, with everything else that was going on, vacations and other events going on, we couldn't really keep the show going for that solid month.
Yeah.
But we're going to try to be a little bit more consistent going forward. Um,
Keyword being
Try. Yes. Um, there was a lot that has happened in AEW. We'll get into that, and there's also a lot of things that happen. Sad news as we're gonna start off.
Yes.
The sad passings of Terry
Terry
Funk and Bray Wyatt.
Well, let's not also forget Bob Barker.
Yeah, Bob Barker has passed
He
away.
did play a pivotal role
Yeah, he did.
as the guest host of Raw. The Price is Raw.
Yeah, there's that. Chris Jericho shared that very special
He
moment.
almost broke character laughing because of just the improv that Bob Barker was doing when Chris Jericho got in his face. He's like, "You listen to me, Bob. I am one. I heard one. That is your bid. Get back over there." Like Chris Jericho took off his name tag and everything. He's like, "You put your name tag back on. Don't make me have. Don't make me have to drape you over my knee now." Like, oh my God, Bob Barker. But yeah, rest in peace. He went as close to 100. He got to 99. He got to 99 without going over $1.
Yes. Which is
what a legend.
Yes, what a legend Bob Barker is. It's kind of crazy that I didn't realize he was 99 years old before passing.
Yeah.
It just was short of being 100.
Yeah.
But
same thing happened with Betty White.
I know.
He followed in her footsteps.
Terry Funk.
Unfortunately.
He's had
Terry Funk is
been a very
absolute legend.
I mean, he wrestled up until his 70s.
Forever.
I mean, that man would have died in the ring if it wasn't
his
for
last
his health.
match. His last match, he literally was, I think, like 72 when he wrestled his last match. And I think Ric Flair has him beat.
Yeah, the oldest. They claim that Mick Foley's the hardcore legend, but I think that's
it's absolutely Terry Funk.
It's got to be Terry Funk. I mean, that man
sacrificed
been just about any promotion that was around.
Yeah. He was like one of the final ones that actually went through like the territory system on top of aside from Raven.
Right.
Raven went through the territory system also, but Terry Funk had Raven beat.
Right.
At least I think Raven was like the final person like that actually came up through like ECW and everything that went through the territory system before all the territories got bought out by McMahon. But regardless, Terry Funk, absolute legend. He always had his spot in like matches where he would blind himself or like, pretend to be blind. So there was that, but also rest in peace to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
That kind of came out of left turn.
Came out of
left
man
field.
Was way too young to pass
36.
away. I mean,
36.
COVID, unfortunately.
Well, it was COVID that exacerbated a heart issue.
Right.
And it has later come out that he needed a defibrillator and he didn't use it because apparently when they found his body, it was not attached to a defibrillator. So, which I don't know why that had to come out later, like, about that. Like, nobody asked for that. Like, all I know is that initially Sean Ross Sapp had reported that, and he was granted permission to share that news that Bray Wyatt had COVID that exacerbated a heart issue, and he had a heart attack, which is what led to his death.
Right.
But
That's
now
crazy.
more details have come out that, like, oh yeah, he had an external defibrillator that, like, they didn't find when they searched his body.
What's
But
sad about it is that he did, I think, wrestle in 2023 at the Royal
yes, he
Rumble.
wrestled last at
Then
the Royal Rumble.
he was out mental issues
Well, we don't know that it was mental issues.
health issues and whatnot kept him out. It was
There was a
rumors.
lot of
There was a
things that
lot of
kept him
rumors
out.
going out that he was gonna be
He was
slated to
cleared to
be.
return.
He was ready to come back and wrestle, and then all out of the blue, Bray Wyatt
Yeah.
passes away, and it's like, what?
Well, and especially with that news of, like, oh, he had a defibrillator. It's like, with that news coming out, it's like there's no way that WWE would have cleared him. There's no way.
Right.
But either way, yeah, just.
It's sad. Now,
But also, before we get on to All In, I did want to talk about this news from NWA.
well, before we get there, I want to cut you off a little bit. I do ask this question. I know he didn't do a whole lot in his WWE career, had to reinvent himself a bunch of different times, but after all those reinventions, do you think that Bray Wyatt has done enough to be a Hall of Famer in WWE?
Well, think about it this way,
too. This man is a three-time world champion,
in WWE.
two-time Universal, one-time WWE.
Yes.
His best times were definitely in SmackDown Live
Yeah.
and being the Fiend and in Bray Wyatt and in the Wyatt family. But if you look at that, I mean, it's tough because if it wasn't for those world title, things, it's like you would look at it as like, would just his legacy and the kind of human being he was be enough to get him in the Hall of Fame even without all those accomplishments? I think just having all those accomplishments alone is what's going to get him in the Hall of Fame, and I'm thinking that he is going to be first ballot Hall of Famer next year, part of that WrestleMania 40 Hall of Fame class.
Here's the thing, too. You got to look at it like this, too, because Eddie Guerrero had the same kind of treatment after he died.
Uh-huh.
So, and he kind of was along the same lines of, like, well, did he really have a lot of, but then you look back at Eddie Guerrero's legacy, it's like, he was a Grand Slam champion. Like, he was Intercontinental Champion, United States, WWE, Tag Team, and Cruiserweight. And so, not to mention all the different titles he's held throughout, like WCW. I think at one point he was even a champion in ECW.
That's why it's like it's
pretty
tough.
Sure he's held titles in New Japan. Like,
it's not that I'm saying anything bad about Bray Wyatt. I mean, he was a great human
being. But I do see where you're coming from. Like he doesn't
in that short amount of time.
If not for those WWE and Universal title accomplishments, I would say, like, no, Bray Wyatt hasn't done enough to warrant a Hall of Fame induction after his death.
I will say, I think being the Fiend and just, I think it was enough. Yeah. I think he's going to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, here's where I would kind of like bounce this back at you. If not as himself, maybe the Wyatt family gets a Hall of Fame induction.
Which would be sad because it's just gonna be.
It would only be
what?
Roman.
I would be okay with JoJo being up there.
Yes.
To induct
to accept Bray Wyatt's.
I understand she's working with AEW, but you I think you got it.
JoJo?
No. You don't, let
Oh,
me
oh,
finish.
okay.
Um, Brody Lee's
Yeah, okay. I
widow.
was gonna say, I think I know
I think
what
you
you
got to
mean.
have
Yeah.
her be there, and then also, Eric Rowan, and then you also got to have Braun Strowman. But yeah, I
Well, not
think,
to
you
mention
know what?
also Randy Orton, unless technically you don't want to count that.
I guess, yeah, I think it should be the Wyatt family. I don't think it should be per se Bray. I think it should be the Wyatt family. Um,
Although it
but
would be kind of weird to see Braun Strowman as a Hall of Famer like this early.
but then again,
But, you
it
know,
might just end up being maybe just Bray Wyatt that's gonna be in. But either than that, yeah, we do have some NWA
yeah.
news before we
So
get into All In.
at NWA 75, it was the culmination of we were going to have the big match going into NWA 75. EC3 versus Tyrus, NWA World Title on the line. If EC3 wins, Tyrus has to retire. Well, um, it happened, folks. EC3 is now the NWA World Champion, and on top of that, Tyrus has now officially retired.
Hmm.
Or maybe not. Something tells me that just because Tyrus may have retired does not necessarily rule out. It's a kind of a shot in the dark here. It's kind of like a curveball, but who's to say he doesn't like somehow resurrect Brodus Clay?
Oh, you could. I mean, I didn't even think about that. He very well could
But I
bring back
also thought
Brodus Clay.
about this too. Maybe he can't use that because it's intellectual property from WWE.
I don't think they'll care.
I mean, that's that's kind of my thinking as to like why he was only ever Tyrus in like TNA/Impact Wrestling, and then now NWA because WWE is intellectual property, owns the name, owns the name, um, Brodus Clay. But I don't know. Either way, that's all I kind of wanted to talk about with NWA, and I know I and with that, um,
We're gonna get on to the big show,
yes, but also
the
with that, I
show
might
that
just
held.
start uh bringing back. If you guys want to
I don't
see,
know. I think it's gonna be too much with everything else that we
well, no,
talk
no,
about
no.
on
Like what
here.
I mean is like I'll take out Impact, bring back in NWA. If you guys want to see it, if not, then you know. Either way, like leave your feedback down in the comments. Do you want me to talk about NWA or not? Because if not, I won't talk about it. If you guys want to see it, I'll talk about it. But at
Right.
least we'll see kind of what the comments say and everything, and then depending on that, I might still talk about Impact. I might just start re re-evaluating um, NWA. We'll see. But without further ado, let's get into the
Yes.
big, the big, and sorry, Impact, but this was bigger than Emergence. Hot
Yes.
take,
Yeah.
but
81,000 strong.
81,035, and that is a legit paid attendance, not including like ticket takers and ushers, because I have heard reports that with all of that said, like not including ticket takers, ushers, and everything. There were like 90,000 people in that stadium.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So the legit paid attendance was 81,035.
Yeah, for a stadium that holds 85,000
For a
fans.
stadium that can hold like 90K.
It's crazy.
Can hold 90K. But, yeah. So let's get into the matches. I don't want to delay this any further.
Benner and you, Bebe, and Ozzy Oatman start off
The
on a
0 hour. Well,
Um,
we had like that little stuff from like
I get
the
it.
YouTube like stuff with like Grado and promotional stuff for Powerhouse Hobbs and Miro, but yeah, it was mostly filler up until the 0 hour, which that is what everybody was looking forward to from the 0 hour was this match.
Yes.
And it did not disappoint.
No, I don't think it did at all. I mean, yeah, they got a little.
Although this match, safe to say, kind of set the precedent of like what was to be expected going into the main event.
Right.
Because I mean, like, this ultimately sets up like, okay, what happens in this match that will lead towards the main event? But we didn't really get anything.
Yeah, nothing really happened.
Like, I mean, we'll talk about what happened with the victors, which, ladies and gentlemen, we have new.
Well, you were not talking about the match.
Well, okay, let's talk about the match. So, there were quite a few moments where we thought maybe, like, throughout the match, that was the whole thing of like, okay, will MJF and Adam Cole actually work as a tag team, work together to win these titles? And they did. They hit like all. Well, first of all, MJF did hit his kangaroo kick, and it got over.
Yes, it did.
So there was that. We saw there were like, I think what, one or two attempts before they actually hit the double clothesline.
Yeah.
So they had attempted it like one or two times, to which Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis both had it scouted. MJF initially, like Adam Cole initially said, like, "Hey, MJF, hit a dive," and MJF was like, "Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it." But then that Aussie Open took advantage of that. Then next thing you know, they're down. MJF is in the ring, or was it? No, Adam Cole was in the ring with MJF, to which they both look at each other and they do double clothesline. Tags in, off the ropes, hit the double clothesline. 1, 2, 3. And with that, we have new Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, MJF, Adam Cole, Better Than You, Bebe, with the win, getting those ROH World Tag Team titles.
Yes. So, new ROH World Tag Team Champions. Congratulations to them. Now we get on to a different side of everything. Jack Perry was the first one that got the victory over Hook itself.
Yeah.
But Hook comes back, says, I want, to get the FTW championship back and bring some respect to the title.
Yeah.
Before he retires it supposedly on Collision, which ended up not happening as he goes out there and everything like that. But Hook, does everything, does the Red Room and everything that on Jack Perry, and unfortunately, Jack Perry, well, you lose the FTW World Heavyweight Championship to Hook.
Before we go any further, we're not addressing the whole, like, we're not addressing the obvious. I mean, the only thing we're really going to talk about is the whole thing where Jack Perry looks into the camera and he's like, "Real glass, cry me a river," but that's it.
Yeah.
So, don't expect that this podcast is gonna, you know, don't like go into the comments and be like, "Oh, you didn't talk about CM Punk and Jack Perry," because we're not going to. Like, it's already been discussed multiple times throughout multiple different like YouTube channels, like what have you, podcasts, anything of the sort. If you want to watch that kind of stuff, go ahead, click on those videos. Don't click on our podcast thinking that we're going to discuss it.
Yeah, Jack Perry went through the glass on the car,
On
and
the
his
limo.
arm started
He
straight
got a good gash in his
bleeding
arm.
right away, which
And I think also Hook had a good like gash on his like shoulder blade. I thought I saw.
But yeah, Hook
Either
wins
way.
it back. It makes you wonder what is AEW doing with Hook ever since he lost that title. Well, absolutely nothing, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even more so, it's like they kind of gave Jack Perry the belt, and they didn't really have a concrete plan of like what to do with Jack Perry and the belt after he took it from Hook. So it was like, okay, what was the game plan behind that whole thing of Jack Perry being FTW champion?
Yeah.
We got our answer with absolutely nothing.
We're going to go on to our next match here as CM Punk
First
faces
match
off
of the main
against
card
Samoa Joe for the
for the
real
world championship.
AEW World Championship. And, well, during the match, you know how Samoa Joe does his big old nope spot. Well, CM Punk's like, nope, you're not going to get me with that.
He initially
and then
outsmarted Samoa Joe with it until
he
Samoa
goes out
Joe
of the
rolled to the outside. CM Punk was going for a dive, to which Samoa Joe did it again, and to which he did a gesture that we can't quite talk about.
I
He
mean,
basically implied that CM Punk is a
he's a wanker.
wanker.
Yep. And then, he's not, Samoa Joe is not a really, like, person that, like, swears or does anything vulgar. But he did flip off CM Punk.
He basically, like, CM Punk was going for I think like a Rana spot or something, and Samoa Joe caught him and just threw him into the like underneath the announce table, to which like that part was covered, but then it like poked a hole, and to which Samoa Joe just gave him a big old finger,
and then
it caused CM Punk to bleed.
It was nice to see Samoa Joe do his signature like power bomb into the
STF.
Well, it was it was
it was a power bomb into an STF.
STF, but CM Punk, man, he is the ultimate like trying to get heat kind of guy because he does the
not to mention
the shoulder elbows.
Oh yeah,
and
he
the shoulder
he channeled
tackles,
his inner John Cena,
and then did a Proplex. Looked like he was about to do the you can't see me.
It looked like he was going to. He had his hand up like this, but then he does the Hogan
leg drop, which I think Samoa Joe.
But then Samoa Joe channeled his inner Hulk Hogan. He kicked out, and then he starts like he starts hulking up, and he looked at CM Punk. He did the you.
And
also, let's talk about the CM Punk seesaw spot, which I didn't realize until somebody posted it on X. That was the same spot that CM Punk did with MJF on an episode of Dynamite, where like a year ago, where he starts punching MJF, and MJF is like, teeter-tottering on the ropes, It was the same spot. So that was when Punk was a face.
And I tell you
Now he's
what,
leaning more towards a heel.
right?
So it's kind of like that teeter totter.
I mean, Samoa Joe, that man has an interesting year in Nagi. He will pick you up and just slam you, but I
Yeah.
don't think anything's better than Jay White's year
Oh,
in
yeah.
Nagi. That man will literally pick your ass up and slam you into the
Yeah.
freaking mat. Where Samoa Joe, I mean, don't get me wrong, he will too. But I think this was a pretty good match to start off the night. I mean,
But
I wasn't disappointed with it.
let's talk about how uh, CM Punk used the Pepsi plunge
Yeah, the
to
beat
defeat Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Samoa Joe in this match. It was crazy.
I don't think he's used the Pepsi plunge in a match since like Revolution against
Yeah, I was gonna
MJF. I
say
think
something like that.
it's been a while since CM Punk pulled out the Pepsi plunge and actually finished a match with it.
I was gonna say I think he only does it against bigger opponents too. Is what I heard. That's
Does
why.
he?
Yeah, I think so.
That's probably why you never see it. That's
But
interesting.
yeah. So CM Punk does retain the real World's Championship.
Which, I mean, you kind of had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah, spoiler alert, I think it's gonna be Samoa Joe, or not Samoa Joe,
I think
CM
it's going to
Punk
lead to CM
and
Punk
MJF.
versus the AEW World Champion at All Out. Which
Or I didn't even think about this. What about Ricky Starks and CM Punk for the real World's Championship again? I know that they already faced off for it, but
you got to have the bigger story, which is, unifying both championships to make one true world title.
It looks like All Out might shape up to be a alright show, but I don't think it's gonna beat out All In at all.
No.
I haven't heard anything about it being a sellout. I haven't heard how many tickets have been sold for All Out. It does not look like it's gonna be probably a commercial success like All In will be. So unfortunately, fans don't expect All Out to be like it usually is. It's also been announced that we are going to get one. We are going to get a pay per view in October in Seattle. It's going
AEW Wrestle Dream in honor of Antonio Inoki.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I'm okay with AEW going the route of a pay per view every month. I don't think it's a bad thing. You've been around 5 years.
Technically, they only have like 8, but unless you count the Ring of Honor pay-per-views, then they essentially have a pay-per-view like every month.
Yeah, but if you think about it, AEW has had very much a pay-per-view up just about every month the last like 5-6 months. No?
Yeah, I was gonna say because they started in March with Revolution, and then like not even a month later, or like a few weeks after that, was Super Card of Honor, which literally takes place every WrestleMania weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Then May was Double or Nothing. June was Forbidden Door. July was Death Before Dishonor. August was all In. September will be All Out. October will be Wrestle Dream. November will be Full Gear, and then December will be Final Battle.
Yeah.
So yeah, literally, what?
So it's a lot of Tony Khan booking for it, but other than that,
10 months
we're gonna
that we've had a pay per view.
Yeah, it's crazy
for AEW/ROH.
So
like either way, the Tony Khan regime has had a pay per view.
So we'll get onto our next match for All In, which is also gonna lead into a match that's gonna happen in Chicago for All Out. So Bullet Club Gold and Kenosha Takeshita face off against the Golden Elite, but no, it's not really the original.
Not entirely the Golden Elite. But it's still the Golden Elite.
It was Kenny Omega,
Kenny, Hangman, and Kota Ibushi,
and then Bullet Club Gold being Jay White and Juice Robinson with Kenosha Takeshita. It seemed weird that it was Kenosha Takeshita and not one of like the ass boys in a way, but it's all right. It makes sense for what they're gonna do for All Out. So during the match, there was a lot of top moments. Bullet Club Gold again. Jay White with his freaking crazy ass Uranagi, trying to get the Blade Runner going on. Kenny dodges it. I mean, Kenny just. The kind of rivalries that him and Jay White had in Japan. So you're gonna have a great moment. But can we talk about the strong style battle between Ibushi and Takeshita?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, man! They were going.
Reliving their
They
days
were just
from
bam,
DDT.
bam,
Yeah.
bam. Like
I said,
getting
reliving
into
their
it.
days from DDT. And man, I tell you what, I need to watch some old DDT.
But after everything it was said and done, it looked like there was a slight moment. Golden Elite are going to get the victory here. No, Konosuke Takeshita, I think, goes in, rolls over, I think, Kenny Omega.
Yes, Takeshita got the pinfall victory.
Got the steal for Bullet Club Gold and Takeshita against the Golden Elite, which sets up.
Which is what set up
Kenny Omega and Konosuke Takeshita and take out Chicago.
It makes sense. It makes sense why they set up
also,
that match
another reason why it makes sense, too, is because of Don Callis.
Yeah.
Trying to
poke the bear with Kenny Omega. Yeah.
It
makes sense.
For him to get his hands on Don Callis. I hope Kenny does it at Chicago and all out. But, again, I'm really hoping...
Give Don Callis the one-winged angel.
Yes, please. That man needs to take one more spot.
That Stooge needs to get what he's coming to him.
So, yes, we get onto the AEW World Tag Team Championship match between FTR and Young Bucks. This match, I think it definitely lived up to the hype. I don't think it was better than Young Bucks and... I'm trying to think of who they faced off at Forbidden Door last month.
What? Oh, Young Bucks.
Well, you know what? These few teams.
Young Bucks had a match.
They probably did, but
on Forbidden Door.
Again, Young Bucks and FTR. These two teams put up a great, match. The first, the 3 times that they faced off against each other. We know the kind of, team that FTR has been. Even, they had a year last year. 2022 was their year. Actually, no, was it 2021 or 2022 that they were basically...
No, it was 22.
22, they were racking up tag team gold. Yeah. Then they lost them because of injury and stuff like that. And then they come back stronger than ever, win the AEW World Tag Team Championships, and they've been on a tear as of late. Of course, I still think that they're going to have a lot more people on their plate. I mean, there's still Bullet Club Gold that can be on the agenda there. But let me tell you something. Yeah. FTR and Young Bucks, they lived up to the hype. I think that this was a great match, a great tag team match.
No, so it was Young Bucks with Hangman, Eddie Kingston, and Tomohiro Ishii taking on Blackpool Combat Club, Konosuke Takeshita, and Shota Umino.
I was gonna say, yeah. The thing is that we'll talk about Will Ospreay. We'll talk about Will Ospreay. I was saying he was the one that ended up having a good match. But FTR and Young Bucks, I think it lived up to the hype. I don't think it was the best match of the night itself.
I don't even think it was the best match out of that trilogy of matches that they've had.
I was gonna say probably not.
I think their first encounter was probably their best match.
I mean, don't get me wrong. This was a great card and a great event itself. It was a commercial success for AEW. Yeah. I am so happy. I find it funny. I hate to go off topic here, but WWE and NFL came together with a collection of 32 titles. And guess what? Actually, that's not 32. It's 31 because Jacksonville Jaguars are excluded from that belt. Well, it sounds
they had it there, and then they were like, "Oh yeah, no, we don't want that."
It sounds like WWE is butthurt off of AEW's success in London, because let me tell you something, WWE, You probably could do it yourself.
You had every opportunity
But
to hold.
you lean more towards going to Saudi more than anything else.
Well,
I hate
not
to say
to mention, you've had every opportunity presented to you by Wembley Stadium in London to hold some sort of wrestling event, in that stadium, and every single time you've been like, nah, we don't want to do it.
How much do you want to bet? Because
then now that All In happened, they are going to try and get
WrestleMania and Wembley Stadium.
I mean, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility.
I will say,
but
congratulations to WWE for being able to get a WrestleMania record the very first day. I think the tickets went on sale.
Yeah.
Over 90,000 tickets sold for both nights.
Yeah.
That's insane. For Philadelphia, a stadium that holds I think over 70,000 fans.
45,000.
Is it?
Yeah. It can only hold 40K. So pretty much for both nights, they filled the state. They're going to fill the stadium.
I mean, that's cool and all, but it still looks better on AEW's part that they did it in all in one night and got over 80,000 fans in one stadium.
Yeah.
For a company that didn't think that they were going to last 5 years. Well, yeah, they're on year 5, and look, they're still.
Well, better yet, a lot of people didn't even think they would last 1 year.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what?
But to that, I say a lot of those same fans that are crapping on AEW said the same thing about TNA when it first started.
But it
wouldn't last a year. Well, guess what? They're on 21 years.
But I will say this now. I think that because of what AEW was able to do in Wembley, I think that WWE has the pressure on themselves to have a WrestleMania now in Wembley Stadium.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that now. Which means this might be a good thing
for the bigger
show. It might be a good thing for both companies, but I think the pressure is on Vince McMahon and WWE to now have a WrestleMania in Wembley Stadium and say, well, guess what? You had All In, we had WrestleMania, and we sold the place out. It's going to be like that. People are going to have a battle between, there's going to be AEW fans and WWE fans, and then there's going to be WWE fans like, well, WWE actually sold out Wembley Stadium. And then AEW fans are going to be like, well, AEW kind of did it first. They kind of, had the biggest attendance record way before WWE. It's going to be a whole battle, unfortunately.
I mean, the tribalism never ends.
But I will say, I think the pressure is on WWE to actually go out and do it. And who's to know? They could do it for WrestleMania 41, but I think it's already set in stone that WrestleMania 41 is supposed to be in Minnesota.
Yeah. They already determined that, way...
So, I think in the near, maybe next...
In, the distant future... They're not going to
for
Wembley.
so years, they're probably going to eventually decide, you know what? We haven't been here since 92. I think it's time to have a big event
not to mention, Tony Khan has already gone on record to say that they're coming back next year to Wembley.
That's awesome.
So
they really should. If you're going to do that, don't have All Out.
Yeah,
or if you're going to call it, do a Wembley show, don't have it be All In. Just have it All Out September, Wembley Stadium. Because I think
I agree.
It makes absolutely no sense to have 2 pay-per-views in a row because you have all those wrestlers off of a great night, and then now you're going to have All Out that's probably going to do I hate to say it.
Yeah.
I don't want to crap on All Out. I really don't because I might end up being surprised. But that's kind of putting you as, okay, well, All In was commercial success, now All Out is going to be a complete failure. It's you're kind of putting, you're kind of setting yourself up to beef.
You kind of put yourself in a rabbit hole that you very well could have gotten yourself out of.
Tony Khan, for the life of God, book some matches that are going to sway people to still get it. I think people are going to still buy it. They're still going to go to it. I think it'll be damn near sold out. Like,
Maybe.
But you got to do something.
Yeah.
All right. No more effing around. We're gonna swing this through. We're already in 40 minutes in. I know, a lot to talk about. But FTR faces off against, or no, actually, Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Eddie Kingston, and Penta face off against the BCC. Proud and Powerful is back, by the way. That is one of the things that happened while we were gone. Santana and Ortiz are back.
Yeah.
After so many months and.
Yeah. Well, literally, it's been over a year. Since Santana has been out, and Ortiz hasn't been on TV in quite a while because, like,
there were so many rumors.
Whole, like,
Santana and Ortiz could come back. They could come back.
Yeah.
It was also nice to see Eddie Kingston coming back from Japan.
Yes.
And coming back from his injury and everything like that. Because he was injured. He was gone. He went to Japan.
Hernia, then he went to Japan, competed in the G1, and also won the New Japan Strong Openweight title. So which I think he still holds.
But I think he lost it. Hence why he's back in AEW.
Well, yeah, but he could have.
I
New
know.
Japan Strong is the American
True
base.
But man, this match was brutal. This match was bloody. This match, we also got to see Sue.
Yeah.
Sue
baked cookies, which apparently I didn't realize she actually used to do that a lot during like the pandemic days of AEW. She would actually go backstage with a batch of cookies and bring them to the guys during the.
It's sad.
Taping.
You make all the effort.
I know. You made all that effort to bake those cookies.
And they throw them away. They throw them away.
Damn it, Trent.
Damn it, Trent.
Trent? What are you doing?
I will say, man, Trent took some freaking crazy bumps in that match.
Oh, I know.
Crazy bumps in that match.
That man is going to limit his own career. I mean, he's already had neck fusion surgery, and then like all the bumps that he was taking, like
Stadium
on his neck,
Stampede.
on his back.
This was probably the best Stadium Stampede / like Anarchy. They should have just called it Anarchy in the Stadium instead of Stadium Stampede.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the same kind of. Like,
but let me tell you something, man. This match. I love the concept of it. I really do. Ever since Tony Khan has come up with that concept, man, it just needs to be like a thing to happen.
But
once or twice a year, because
this might be a bit of a hot take, but I kind of preferred when they did Stadium Stampede, like without any fans, and when they did it,
it was cool.
When
but
they did
I think it's better when there's the fans. You know what?
Yeah,
I kind of wish they had music. Going like some kind of
like a Double or Nothing.
I don't know if that was. I don't know. I don't know if that was meant to happen or if the sound guy was just drunk that night.
Well,
or
no.
Not.
See, here's the thing too. The guy from whatever that band.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say
he was still playing. He was still singing while the action was going, and then next thing you know, it didn't take until like I think the Young Bucks. Super kicked him before the band was like, "Oh, I guess we're done."
Oh yeah, I do remember that one. But Penta looked like he got hurt.
Oh yeah, but it was only
Penta Oscuro came out there, and well, we almost had a interesting bad thing that happened. The ladder This is how crappy these London ladders happen to be. They're made of very cheap wood.
Yeah.
And the damn thing, not even touching anybody or somebody hitting into it, it broke on its own while Penta was trying to go up
under
on
the
it.
Weight of
both
men.
Penta could have almost gotten seriously hurt because of that. But then Alex Abrahantes did audible and held the ladder up while Penta Oscuro still did a spot that he was originally going to do anyway. And I think that's like
he did a sunset flip
into the double ladders or double tables.
Yeah.
But man, what a crazy match. What a crazy ending. But Yes, the team that gets it done is the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy, Eddie Kingston, and Penta beating the BCC, Proud and Powerful, to win the Stadium Stampede match. After everything, after all the chaos that BCC has put on, they finally lose. But how much of that is really going to play a factor as we are going to have a match between Orange Cassidy and Penta, who are on the same team together.
Yeah.
They are going to face off on Dynamite. The winner will face off against Jon Moxley. And spoiler, I really do think that Jon Moxley is going to be your new international champion. I think he's going to win another title. That man is going to be a badass. I think he's going to hold that title just about as long as Orange Cassidy has. Because Orange Cassidy has literally held that title almost a damn year by now.
Not quite, but he's held it long enough.
319 days heading into that event.
Has it really been that long?
I think that's what they said.
I thought it was only like 280 something.
I think it was 319. It was somebody that held the title for 319 days.
I don't know. Either way, Orange Cassidy's held on to it for quite a while.
I don't know if it was... Maybe it was MJF that had it for 300 days.
I was going to say, yeah, no, it was MJF.
But, yeah, Orange Cassidy has had it for a while.
Yeah.
He's had it for a good hot minute. But, yes, congratulations to them. Yeah, we got to the Fatal 4-Way Women's Championship match. This is where I call the fans the dissension of the Outcasts. But I am shocked, and I hate to go into it. Okay, so for All Out, it's been announced Chris Statlander will play her TBS Championship on the line against Ruby Soho. That kind of shocks me a little bit. Because, I get it, you had the Fatal 4-Way at All In. I think you're going to get Saraya and Toni Storm facing off against each other at All Out. And here's why we say it. Because... what was it? Toni Storm hit into
during the match.
Saraya,
Toni Storm hit Saraya Knight, who is her mom. That's where Saraya got her name.
Mm-hmm.
Was her mom's ring name of Saraya Knight, and then her mom got heated. Like, I don't even know if that was like part of the show. But, like, either way, like, you made it feel like, okay, Saraya Knight is actually going to beat the living hell out of Toni Storm. But, like...
And then Saraya's like...
Saraya saw that, and she's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, that's my bloody mom.
He's like, what did you do that for, bitch?
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. And then started beating down on Toni Storm. Then Ruby Soho...
had to come out
and... And it had to play.
So what it was?
Devil's advocate.
Well, here's the thing. What was initially going to happen is, Toni Storm had exposed the bottom ring, the bottom turnbuckle, and Saraya was propped up there. Toni Storm was about to do her hip attack,
and then she's like,
and Ruby had
watch her neck.
Ruby had to come out and be like, no, Toni, her neck. Like, don't do this. Her neck. And next thing you know, like. Toni, like, went to turn around or whatever. Ruby grabbed her arm. Toni, like, hit into her. Next thing you know, Ruby's, like, just storming off. She's like, I can't with this. I'm done. Kind of thing. And, you know, kind of like, figure it out for yourselves, guys. So.
Yeah, there's definitely some seas there have been.
More importantly, Saraya, well, not only did she give Toni Storm essentially the page tap out, but while Toni was in that position, Britt Baker curb stomped the shit out of her.
Yeah, so, that was crazy. Like, that was such spiked the hell out of her with that.
Dude, Toni Storm had like no way to protect her head,
so
her head literally like bounced off the canvas.
Which, I mean.
That looks dangerous in and of itself.
It is dangerous, but it's very cool to see. I mean,
yeah, but like
I know, but yes, you do want to protect your guys. But in the end of the day, Saraya gets her moment.
Saraya pinned Tony Storm, by the way,
Yes,
too.
that was crazy. That's why I think it's gonna set up something at like either Dynamite or Collision. Tony Storm's gonna want her rematch. Um, even though I know Hikaru Shida was technically the champion, but I think Saraya. I think what you should do is do a triple threat
Triple threat,
match.
yeah.
Tony
Storm,
Saraya, and
Hikaru
Hikaru Shida. Yes, I think
so
that's
that
what.
way Shida gets her contractually obligated rematch, but then
But I'm sure that
no.
Tony
So
Storm.
what I could see happening is to set up the angle. Hikaru Shida comes out and she's like, "I never lost my championship. I want a rematch." Next thing you know, Tony Storm is like, "No, no, no. She pinned me. I should be the one to." And then next thing you know, Tony Schiavone gets in his ear from Tony Khan. He's like, "All right, ladies, settle down. I just received word from Tony Khan in my headset that we're gonna have a triple threat match at All Out. So Rhea, you're putting your AEW Women's World Championship on the line against both Tony Storm and Hikaru Shida."
Yeah, I could see that being the case, which honestly, I think that could be still a decent match. I mean, I'm not saying that like the Fatal 4-Way match wasn't good, wasn't
I mean,
bad,
either way,
but I don't think it was super great either.
yeah. I mean, either way, at every All In / All Out, you've had a multi-woman match.
Yeah, so I
So
think that you can keep it
keep tradition. Triple threat. Keep tradition.
I think you would have to. So we're gonna go on to our next match. Sting and Darby face off against Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage.
In what was supposed to be a coffin match, but it wasn't no damn coffin. It was a freaking casket.
I don't know if they're allowed to call it a casket match because I think WWE themselves owns the name to it. That's why they still had.
No, like so. I think they can still have casket matches, like in AEW.
But the thing is like, why did you
Darby Allin's gimmick to call it coffin match?
Why did you call it a coffin match and had a casket?
And have a casket.
Like you could have still gotten an actual
you
coffin.
You could have gotten a coffin,
and it still would have been big enough.
Yeah.
It felt odd with everything. Swerve's turning on AR Fox before the match.
Yeah.
Which then Christian Cage took over. So I want to know if there's something that we don't know about AR Fox and hence why he couldn't go to that event, because they kind of like inadvertently.
I was gonna say there had to have been something with AR Fox, like, and why they had that whole angle of like, oh hey, AR Fox, like you're no longer part of the Mogul Embassy, like and everything, and then like the whole thing with Darby Allin forgiving AR Fox.
Like to
Meanwhile,
see,
Nick Wayne like walked out of that.
I still would like to see heading into Seattle, because if you think about it, I would like to see. Is Bryan Danielson anywhere close to being come back? Because that'd be cool to see him.
It's possible he might do it again. Like he might actually, because he made his debut at All Out. Maybe he makes a return at All Out.
Because that'd be
but
cool.
I don't know. His broken arm might be worse than expected.
Well, not even that. Because isn't Darby from Seattle too? I think it would be cool to see
I don't know.
It would be cool to see like Darby, Nick Wayne, and AR Fox go up against the Mogul Embassy and like Swerve, Brian Cage, and I don't know somebody like.
Swerve, Brian Cage, and well, that's a good question. Where the hell is Parker Boudreaux? He's technically still part of the Mogul Embassy.
Right. True. But ultimately, Sting and Darby do beat Swerve Strickland. Swerve Strickland was the one that got thrown into the coffin.
But technically, he didn't lose because
strands. And I did see people commenting on it. It's like, well, his hair was out there. I don't know does that technically like count that, he was, still out.
Technically, he didn't lose. Maybe they incorporate that into a storyline.
It could. Who knows? Man, I tell you what, I can see the reason why they call Will Ospreay the Billy Goat. Because this man can put up a fucking great match against whoever he goes up against.
I mean, not to mention, we got to see it live.
Yeah, I was going to say the best match ever of AEW history happened at Forbidden Door between Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega.
6 stars.
I think it went like, what, 58 minutes?
Did it? I thought it went like 45.
Or
something. No, it did. It did go that long.
Yeah, I was going to say,
long
it was almost a full hour.
But it was well worth it.
Yeah, it was. I think it was like a 60-minute time limit.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, for the IWGP United States Championship.
It did go that long.
It went 58 minutes. It almost went a full hour.
They did. Yeah, Justin Roberts did say like 10 minutes remaining, and then next thing you know, it's like you heard the 5 minutes remaining, 2 minutes remaining, or like something like that. But yeah, it was like.
But this man still put on a great show in his hometown of London, England.
Yes.
Will Ospreay and Chris Jericho. I mean, Chris Jericho, I will say, I was even telling Marty, like, Chris Jericho, even at like 52, he can still put on some great matches. But I will say, yes, Ospreay did have to probably carry him through the match itself.
Yeah.
But man,
I was going to say, it depends on the opponent that Chris Jericho gets.
The moves that he does, the V-triggers, the Stormbreaker. I mean, just that man.
He couldn't do the...
That man just has a hell of a freaking moveset. He is the future of professional wrestling. Like I told Marty before we, recording this, he is the future. At only 30 years old, this man is the future of pro wrestling. This man is literally going to put pro wrestling on there. And I honestly think that Tony Khan would be stupid to not go after Will Ospreay when he becomes a free agent in 6 months' time.
Yeah.
Because I don't think IWGP is going to re-sign him. I think he's going to go... I don't think New Japan is going to. I think he's going to be AEW bound in 6 months, officially signed. And who better to have him go after the AEW World Championship? Honestly, I think it's a signing that AEW needs to have because you need to add more star power to the World Championship picture. You really do.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have Jay White who could eventually get there. You have Adam Cole who was there, and we'll talk about that too. But yeah, we're getting on to this one. This one was a good match. I mean, House of Black has been on a tear as of late. Badass Billy, Billy Gunn comes back after almost a month away.
Yeah.
After, what happened.
After, quote-unquote, retiring.
House of Black was on a tear, but what really got to them is when his boots got thrown into the compactor and torn apart. He's like, well, you know what? You retired, daddy ass, but I didn't think I would ever have to bring this back. Badass Billy Gunn. And then they claim it, Badass Billy Gunn. Famouser after famouser. And he's like, and then he ends up saying, suck my dick to Julia Hart.
I was gonna ask, can we talk about that spot? Yeah.
And scissor me timbers to Julia Hart when she doesn't even have anything there.
They scissored Julia Hart.
It's all right, because you know what? I don't want to get any flack for this, but Anthony Bowens was the one that did it, and I guess it's justified because he's. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
I mean, I don't know how. Like, regardless of sexual orientation, I think it's still wrong.
Yeah, it kind of is wrong. You just abused a woman on national.
It's funny, but it's wrong.
On a pay-per-view. And yeah, maybe it was a little wrong, but I think it was hilarious. And I do like that it was I will say with everything AEW wise for this, there was a lot of gimmick matches. And TK, you kind of, I think he had to. you have to freaking like stack the deck for this. If you got to have gimmick matches, you got to have gimmick matches. I loved it because you don't really see that a lot in professional wrestling with a lot of gimmick matches for pay-per-views. Almost every single match in some sort of capacity was, if you think about it,
Yeah.
was like about no rules. I think the only other one that wasn't was, because I mean, Hook versus Jack Perry, FTW rules match. CM Punk
Yeah.
Samoa Joe. There's 6-man tag team match. I mean that had rules. Stadium Stampede, no rules. Fatal 4-way match. Coffin match.
Mhm.
Ospreay for Chris Jericho, that is no rules.
That was a.
But this one's like no holds barred for this
Yeah.
World Trios Tag Team Title match which was ended up being a lot better than I thought it was. I honestly thought I knew eventually that the Acclaimed Badass Billy Gunn would get their moment, but I am so happy that Billy Gunn is on top of the mountain as a tag team champion once again, and that we got to see a big old scissor party in London,
Yeah.
England. Congratulations, you guys deserve it, Acclaimed Badass Billy Gunn. You deserve it. I'm hoping you're gonna have a nice lengthy run. I'm hoping you're gonna have a run like a House of Black did. But honestly, I don't think there's been any bad World Trios Tag Team Champion, to be honest with you.
No,
I mean, House of Black
we
had
had
been
House of
great.
Black, Death Triangle.
Death Triangle were great when they were
the Elite.
the two times that
the
second
one technical
the second time that they had it was good.
Yeah, actual reign that they had.
I mean, ever since they made these tag team titles, I don't think they've ever had really bad matches, to be honest with you.
No, every match, every like trios match that they've had for
officially
those titles, like
we get onto the main event.
Oh yes.
MJF and Adam Cole. These two men, it looked like maybe there was going to be a turn. Maybe there was going to be something happening during this match. It looked like it was bound to happen that these two men were going to, switch on each other because Adam Cole was showing a heel side during this match. I mean, he was brutalizing MJF. The way that, he hit, a brain buster on the steps.
And, like he didn't care about the spot initially, but then it's the second it happened and the second he saw Max like laid out, he was like, "Oh crap, Max, are you okay?"
And then we saw MJF dive this time for this match. We didn't see it during the tag team match. We saw it in the main event. And we did see a double clothesline where they took each other out. I will say,
in the main event, we still saw a double clothesline.
We did see a double pin, which resulted in extra time between these two men. Overtime.
Well, so initially, Adam Cole looked at MJF and it was a repeat of their title
it was a double clothesline, which resulted in the double pin.
So, and then Adam Cole
using some of MJF's moves in this match, the Heat Seeker.
Oh yeah, but no. So what happened after the double pin? It was almost a repeat of the end of the world title eliminator match between those two.
Yeah,
which led to
5 max.
He was like, Max, 5 more minutes, to which MJF again said no. But he was like, 5 minutes isn't enough. We're going to keep going until we have a winner in fucking Wembley.
Which was awesome. Like, I mean, you have to have a winner. You can't have the biggest event in Wembley go down to the result like that. You have to have a clear-cut winner for, the biggest main event of both of those men's careers.
So after that, then we had everything of, like, I think it was after they had restarted the match under, like, the sudden
it looked like, and then Bryce.
I think that was when
the referee got knocked out
Bryce
twice.
Kept getting, like, knocked down. And then, they played the game of like cat and mouse, where it's like, no, you had the chair.
The chair,
no, you had
yes.
the chair. You had the chair. You had the chair. And he's like, okay, take it. Guess what? I have the chair. I'm down. Or yeah, so to which Adam Cole threw the chair to MJF, and then he fell. To which MJF is like, oh well, guess what? I got the chair around my neck. I'm down. And then Bryce woke up and he's like, hey, what happened here? And you can hear Adam Cole. He's like, I didn't do anything, Bryce. I didn't do anything. And MJF tried to roll up Adam Cole, to which nothing happened with that. And then they went down again, and you can see MJF like reaching in his tights. He's got the Dynamite Diamond ring. He was about to do it, and he's like, I can't do it to my best friend. I can't do it to my best friend.
Even after MJF beats Adam Cole, he's like, hey, man, we still have these. And Adam Cole
was like,
tossed the ROH World Tag Team, his ROH World Tag Team title out of the ring. He's like, it was all for this.
He's like, oh, so this is what it was all about, huh? To you? You didn't give a shit about this tag team titles. He's like, oh, you know what? Fucking take it.
Yeah. Where MJF couldn't, or Adam Cole. And
he's like, just get it over with.
Adam Cole tried, and then he threw that belt to the mat,
but
and he couldn't.
The underlying factor to that, Roderick Strong, the whole time was like, do it, I'm your best friend.
I'm your best friend. Beat it. I love this storyline. I love how they're still continuing it.
Well, I look at it this way.
I really do think you're going to see a storyline between the Kingdom and Roderick Strong and MJF and Adam Cole.
Yes.
Because that's where they're planting the seeds for that. They really are.
Well, not to mention, I even said that to Jason before, after MJF and Adam Cole won the titles, maybe it might bring more eyes to ROH on Honor Club.
Maybe for their tag team division, but I don't think it's going to bring more eyes too much for ROH, to be honest with you.
Well, here's the thing, though. It's like people are going to watch the whole thing and then get to the end just to watch Adam Cole and MJF.
I mean, true.
Think about it. So, well, but I feel like people, like, they might watch after the fact just to, like, just to fast forward and then get to the. I mean, I'm just speculating. So, but yeah. So.
But yeah, as of that, ladies and gentlemen, it's great to be back. Great to, do this for you. We are going to be, of course, next episode we'll be talking about All Out in Chicago, but we are definitely all in London. As always, we'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.